Hello, my friends. Today is September the 26th. And if this is your birth date, this is a reading for you for this year. It's a four card pull, a general energy card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card of what this more about what this might really mean, where it's leading you to. So, the general energy card of the year for September the 26th, folks, is the shadow. The shadow is, often maligned and often feared and often talked about as a negative thing, as an evil thing, as a place where the demons in us hide, blah. But the shadow is much deeper than that. It's much wider than that. It's much more complex than that. Some things need to remain in the shadow. The confidences that are shared with by someone else to you, those sacred things that you are asked to hold, those exist in the shadow, and that is good until they're ready to come out, and then they can be opened up. There are some shadows you just can't share for the safety or for the understandings of someone else. Then there are shadows of the things that you do not like about yourself, the shadows of the things that you judge or others have judged harshly about you, the guilts, the shames, even the fears that sit in your shadow and brew you. And fears are often about some kind of trauma that you've experienced, and on some level might have blamed yourself, or on another level really haven't shaken off the trauma from what has come, and you get project your life on this old fear that may not have really anything to do with you anymore, and need to be healed and need to be cleansed so you can be free once more. And so our work is about healing the shadow, healing those parts of ourself that are ready to be healed. And one of the things about working with shadow and doing healing work is, if you're just present and you're honest with yourself, then whenever something that is in the shadow comes up, you can, you know, openly look at it and do the healing work with it. But the more you try to just keep avoiding what keeps coming up for you, then it's going to keep pushing at you harder and harder until it makes itself seen. Because the things that are in our shadow often really want to be healed. They don't really want us to keep them there. They want to see the light of day and be free. There's a lot of pain we hold inside of ourselves, and if we don't find a way to show it to the world and free ourselves from, well, we lock these things down, and that takes energy. We hold these things in, and that takes energy, and that takes a lot of fear, and that takes a lot of awareness and hyper awareness, and that takes a lot of concern about what if somebody finds out, and oh my God, I can never share this, and oh my God, we get bound up in our shadow without even knowing necessarily what the thing is underneath it, what the fear is underneath it. So this is a year to be able to do that kind of work, to be able to look at the shadows that are presented to you of yourself, to judge whether there's something that you need to keep secret, whether it's something you need to more easily show to the world so you can be free in yourself and not have to hold on to this pain or this judgment anymore. And I think you'll find that most of the time the shadow is really stuff that doesn't need to be hidden away. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your thought. It wasn't your challenge. You were young. You did things when you were called to do them at that time, but you've learned a lot of lessons. So it's about really looking at yourself with patience, looking at yourself with trust, and looking at yourself with compassion, because you need to have compassion to go into the shadow work. So, what exactly is your challenge, September the 26th for this year? It is the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is normally who's fearless. There's a sense of, I will go there. I have done these things. I have learned a lot of lessons. I'm inspired by my life. I'm connected to my blood. I'm connected to my juice. I'm connected to the God source, goddess source. moving through me, and I'm a fearless leader, and I'm a fearless inspirer. And yes, I have fear, but I walk through it. Yes, I know I have challenges, but I come up against them. Yes, I know that I need courage, and I find that courage to go into the challenges, to go into the wars, to go into the battles. So that's your challenge, though, is to find that courage. And I don't, on some levels, I think, even though you're very seasoned and very wise and very, connected to your faith, connected to your trust, connected to your deep sense of spirit, something this year might feel like it cowers you because there's an old blockage in your shadow. There's an old thing that's been subdued in your shadow that makes you maybe doubt yourself, maybe doubt your connection, maybe doubt your worth to lead something. And this is a time of being, a leader, I think. And the challenge is to be the leader that you are and that you're called to be, but that something inside of you says, "Oh, not me, not now, not this way." And what is that thing that's stopping you? And that's what the shadow is here. If you can quiet your mind and quiet your heart and go sit in a beautiful quiet place and connect into the earth like the mountain lion. The mountain lion is always about courage, and mountain lion is also about being a very particular hunter. It doesn't kill more than what it needs to kill. It is a very wise user of resources and energy. You can't be pushing all the time. And I think that's what the mountain lion says. You have to rest. You have to take care of your needs. You shouldn't take more than you need, but you also have the courage and the ability to lead. And in many levels, the mountain lion is the leader and is called to stand up and fight for the oppression of others and fight for the injustices of the world and roar one's sense of righteousness and roar one's sense of connection and trust in the vibrancy of one's power, the ability of one's poise, the efficiency of one's use of resources, including oneself, and trust in the depth of one's heart. And to listen to one's heart and to listen to one's soul is what the mountain lion is really asking you to do, to step up with your fire, to lead yourself and to lead others towards something that feels true and righteous and necessary for you. And that's how you will be able to find your flow again. And this is, you're being taken on your journey. You'll be led on this miraculous journey of connection and healing. And I think this is the shadow is asking you to root yourself and remember that you're rooted in the earth. Remember that you're a tree. Remember that your leaves and your fruit reach up to the heavens like your hands. And this is all about rooting yourself, trusting yourself, reaching out when you need to reach out for the memories of the ancestors, reaching out for the good of others, reaching out to both give and receive the light from others. You're not in this alone. You're not doing this alone. You're one tree in a forest full of trees. And, when the sun hits a group of trees, there's a lot of shadow. So, you welcome the shadow into your life. Welcome the resources you have to deal with your shadow. Welcome the connections of ancestors and the earth to help you to take away whatever pains you're ready to release. Welcome the hands and the hearts of others who are willing to help you and listen to you and even follow you because you have great understanding, great passion, great sacred fire that is calling others to move in a particular direction. And in this time and age, there's a lot of healers that are being called. There's a lot of warriors that are being called. And you are a warrior healer, and you are an inspirer, and you can give a sense of purpose to something that people might feel like they're floundering in, because you do understand on deep levels what it takes to stand up for yourself, what it takes to vanquish your inner demons, what it takes to stand up with courage and set good boundaries, and but also bring people along in sacred ways. So that may this be a year of great opening, great love, great compassion, great patience, and great trust. Ahom Atakwyasan, blessed